An encounter with a phantom.
I grew up in Kumdok, a small village of 17 homes in the interior of Ladakh. When I was young, all of the families in our village reared livestock. Each family had goats, sheep, yak, and cows, and all of us split the responsibility of herding among all the families such that one or two individuals always accompanied the animals into the pastures. I still remember that time when I first went to herd livestock for the village. I think I can never forget that day. It was our turn that day, and since my parents were occupied with a few chores, they asked my 8-year-old brother Nurbu and me to go instead. I was 6 years older than my brother. We spent the day minding the animals, having tea and sattu, which is flour made from roasted barley, and chit chatting constantly. We had nearly 50 animals in our charge. The day passed smoothly, and we were feeling confident and relieved that no untoward incident had taken place. Just as we were climbing down the mountain with the herd of animals, Nurbu let out a shriek and pointed towards a huge furry grey animal that had caught a goat by her neck. Both of us froze for a few moments, not knowing how to react to this creature in front of us. Its paws were huge, and we could see it flexing its muscles to hold the goat in its place. We were trembling and could barely stand upright. We did not have the courage to shoo it away. It was a snow leopard, the phantom of the mountains. Several tense minutes passed, and all we could do was stare at the animal. Finally, I took a deep breath and told myself that I was the older one and thus needed to deal with the situation. I asked my brother to be brave. Both of us walked towards the snow leopard, screaming loudly. Nurbu hurled stones in its direction to scare it away. I took a stick and started beating the ground. Startled by the noise, the snow leopard dropped the goat and growled at us menacingly. Eventually, the commotion we created made it impossible for it to devour the goat in peace. So it moved away and climbed up to a vantage point. We ran towards the goat to check if she was still alive. She was not. My brother and I looked at each other with worry. I looked at my brother and requested him not to tell our parents or the villagers what had transpired that day. We were both afraid that we would be punished or shouted at. We placed the carcass exactly where it had been killed and quickly climbed down the mountains to track the rest of the herd. We found them huddled together about 3 kilometers away. We were not sure who the goat belonged to, and we were concerned about whether she had been lactating. We reasoned that if the goat were lactating, the owner would notice the missing mother when her lamb bleats for her. If not, then we would have little to worry about, as the owner would likely not notice the missing goat. I tried to milk the goat and was relieved to find that she was not lactating. Small mercies. The next challenge in front of us was how we would carry the carcass back with us. We were both small and did not have the strength to carry an animal that weighed between 20 to 30 kgs. We contemplated hiding the carcass, but noticed that the snow leopard was observing our moves and would therefore discover the hiding place. We spent nearly 2 hours fretting about this and did not realize that we had been ignoring all the other animals in the herd. They were nowhere to be seen. I felt a pit form in my stomach. A couple of meters downhill, we finally spotted them. They were not able to move because they were too afraid of the snow leopard. We eventually coaxed them into action by hurling some sand and stones in their direction. On our way home, we met a few villagers who were looking for us. They had come to help with herding and inquired if we had encountered a wolf or snow leopard that day. My brother and I shook our heads and glanced at each other. We reached home late in the evening, and my mother gave us some tea and roti. While we were having tea, Mother said that she had been thinking about us all day. She had thought about a snow leopard and about our goats in the afternoon, and wondered if this was a bad omen of some kind, but she was relieved to know that this wasn't the case. We felt a wave of guilt and shame rising in our hearts. Traditionally, each herder is supposed to alert the other herders about instances of depredation so that they can be better prepared the following day and can be accompanied by four instead of two shepherds, as it normally is the case. We did not have the courage to share this news, however. The next day, we noticed that only one male shepherd went into the pasture. We worried ourselves sick about what would happen. We wondered if we had put his or the goats' lives in danger. As it turned out, no one was harmed. After about 2 months, we confessed to Mother about the snow leopard and told her that we had tried our best to save the goat. She was shocked to hear the details and burst into tears when she got to know that we tried to shoo the big cat away with merely a stick and a few stones. She hugged us and told us to be more careful the next time. She explained why it was important to tell the villagers about such incidents and chided us for not having done so. It was only much later, when I began to work in conservation, that I realized that the ideal thing to do when a snow leopard kills an animal is to let the carcass lie undisturbed so that it can feed on it. This ensures that the snow leopard doesn't kill more animals the following day. My brother and I had unwittingly done so, which worked out at the end for the big cat, the villagers, and for us.